Okay, hello everybody, welcome to this Verbling class. This is a writing class, so you can come along into this class if you'd like to have a go at practicing all that vocabulary and grammar that you've been learning over this week in Verbling classes, hopefully. It's a free writing class, so it's really an opportunity just to practice your writing in any way that you like. What I provide you with is kind of something to inspire you or just give you some ideas, and then you are able to use whatever language, vocabulary or grammar or structures that you like to have a practice of your writing. So I give you the opportunity to write for about half of the class, and then we spend the rest of the time reading and correcting the writing of each other's work, so that you can learn from your mistakes and also be entertained by the writing of the other students. So today's topic is imaginary blog posts. Now, I don't know whether you guys actually read any blogs regularly or not, but if you have noticed, one of the most popular forms of a blog post is a list. So you might see like 10 ways to improve your life in 5 minutes, or there are a million different topics. That's the topic of today's class. So I've provided you with several different kind of interesting, light-hearted blog list topics. But you're very welcome to think of your own topic. It might be fun if we choose a couple of these topics and write a bit of the blog. You don't have to do the whole thing, but you can think of some good ideas and make it as entertaining or as serious as you like. So do come along in and join us if you want to practice your writing. Before we actually get started on the writing, just take a look at the 2 links that I'm going to paste into the chat box. If you're interested in finding out more about any of the Verbling teachers, then you can visit our Verbling teacher pages, which is the second of the 2 links there. It's a good way to keep English current. You can write us a message, check out our calendars, and find out who we are. So do have a look at those pages if you have a spare minute. So let's say hello. Who do we have here? We have Elena. Welcome back, Elena.
Hello, teacher.
Are you a good writer? I always ask this in my writing classes to make people feel nervous.
Oh, yeah. It depends on the topic and on the language.
Fair enough. What about in your native language, which is Portuguese, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm a good writer.
Excellent. So I remember from our last class we were talking about interesting jobs, and you said that you might like to be a journalist, which obviously writing's pretty important. Do you do any writing just for kind of pleasure in your life, or?
Not for pleasure, but as something for as a necessity because of academic writing. So we have to write a lot of articles and my monograph. So that's a lot of writing.
That is. Actually, I quite enjoy writing myself, and I find it quite relaxing, you know. Sometimes I just write my thoughts or something. I find it's a different way of, I don't know, releasing tension maybe. But we'll try and make this writing class a bit fun. So you can go wild and use as much English as you like, okay?
Okay.
While I'm saying hi to Franz, just check out the Google Drive, Elena, and you'll see the document up there. Hello, Franz. How are you?
Hello, Amy. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. Cool. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly easy.
Good. Franz, I don't remember if I've met you before. Is this the first time we've met?
Yes, it's our first time together, and it's my 3rd class here on Verbling.
Wow! Well, welcome. It's great to have you.
Yes, thank you.
Where are you from, Franz?
I'm originally from Switzerland, but I'm double citizenship. So my mother tongue is German and Portuguese. I'm living now in Brazil, but I used to live my whole life in Switzerland, in Zurich. Yeah.
Wow, so you must speak, which part of Switzerland did you live in, or what language do you speak as your native language?
I used to live in the German part, so German is my first native language.
Mm-hmm.
But but I speak very good Portuguese and a little bit Spanish. Yeah,
And
I'm trying.
English.
Yeah, I'm trying.
You're trying. It sounds pretty
Yeah.
good to me, Franz. All right. Well,
Thank-
listen, if this is your first Verbling class, please do let me know if you get stuck with anything, okay? If you can't
Cool.
figure out what to do. If you have a look on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see some applications, and you need to click on the one which says Google Drive. Can you see the Google Drive?
Yes, already done.
All right, so you know how to do this.
Sure.
Elena, I'll just give you permission, and then you should be able to access. Just hold on 1 second. And how about that? So how are you? Are you in, Elena? Did you successfully access it? Yep.
Yeah,
Good.
teacher,
All right.
it's okay now. Thank you.
Cool. And how about you, Franz? Have you got the document there?
Yes, I'm trying to download it because it's a little bit faster. Just a second. Yeah, it's doing the download.
All right. Cool. What I'm going to do is I'll just do a screen share with you, and then we can just read through the topics together before we start. Now, you don't have to choose one of these, guys, but these are just to give you some ideas, okay? You're very welcome to make up your own. Franz, just keep downloading and join us when you can. And Elena, I'll get you to read these out if you wouldn't mind. I'll get you to read about half of them, and then I'll switch to Franz.
Do you want me to read the topics?
Yes, please.
Okay. Things I'd rather do than study.
Mm-hmm.
Five ways to increase your English vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
Best places for a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
People you should be following on Twitter. Things I wish I had done differently. Food you should always take on a picnic or you always should have in your pantry.
Cool.
Best
Thanks,
TV
Elena.
programs of all time. Oh,
That's all right. Just pause there because I just want to make sure that Franz is
I got
okay.
carried away.
And I just want to mention, so if you put, what I've put here is an X, so you can like choose a number.
No te preocupes, mañana puedes hacer nada.
All right. Hello to Jose, who's just joined us.
Hi, teacher. How are
Hi,
you?
Jose. Welcome, welcome. We're just reading through. Well, I've interrupted Elena as she was reading, actually. Through the topics for today's class, and if you can just take a look at the Google Drive, you should be able to access the document.
Okay, thank you.
Brilliant. Elena, I'm going to get you to carry on. I just wanted to mention, if you put a number in here, you might want to do, for example, 3 foods that you should always take on a picnic. So that's why I've put an X. Then you can divide your piece of writing nicely into a couple of points. So Elena, please carry on reading from here. Best TV programs.
Okay. Best TV programs of all time. Books you should read before you die. Good sports to play and why. Reasons why learning a language is a good idea, and reasons why Facebook is the best thing since sliced bread. Okay.
Now, obviously, you don't have to agree. And yeah, I'll send you the link, Jose. You may want to change this, right? You may want to do something else, not Facebook, but I don't know, riding a bicycle or whatever you like, basically. So you can choose one of these topics, you can make up your own, or you can choose one of these and change it. But the whole idea is that we're going to try and do an imaginary blog post on something like one of these topics. So, what I'm going to do is give you about 20 minutes, maybe a little bit more, because we've got plenty of time with only 3 of us here today, which is great. And I will be here the whole time, so if you have any questions, just let me know. But I do recommend that you keep your microphone on mute, because it means that we can just concentrate without listening to everybody typing. If you have any questions, just ask. choose one of the topics. All you need to do is type your name into the document and write your piece of blog post below that. Otherwise, you can type it somewhere else on your computer and copy and paste later. So if it was me, I'd type Amy, and then I'd say the title is going to be 5 things to do at the weekend, and off you go. So off you go, guys. You can use whatever language you like. Try and use your best English to make the most of the opportunity. And I'll see you in about 20 minutes. Helen, it's up to you. You can write in the Google Drive document straight away, or you can write on your computer and I'll get it off you at the end. You can just copy and paste if you prefer. All right, Jose, we've got a bit more time to do some more writing, so if you like, you can choose another topic and try and use some different language or something. Otherwise, you're welcome just to wait for about 5, maybe 10 more minutes, and then we'll go through them. Helena, if you like, because there's only 2 students today, I'll give you another few minutes and you can start another one, or you can double check yours and just wait for a few minutes. So I'll give you guys another 5 minutes. Helena, if you decide that you're finished, if you can just copy and paste into the document or the chat box, and I'll do it for you, and then we'll correct shortly. Welcome back, Franz. Have you managed to do some writing? Are you there, Franz? No, maybe he's having connection trouble. Alright, so Elena, I get tripped up by the H that's in your name there. Let's go through yours first, and I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger so that we can see it really clearly. And I don't know why it's gone weird with the page. Let's try that again. What I might do is put it all the way down here if you don't mind. Stick it there. Okay. So, Elena, would you like to read out for me? You've chosen rules to become a dedicated English student. Good choice. Okay, could you read it?
Okay. Number 1, listen to music in English. Try to understand the lyrics and to sing along. Repeat the same song 10 times if necessary. Number 2, listen to music in English whenever you can. For example, while you're driving or waiting on a bus stop, cooking, or doing housework. Number 3, quit watching TV in your mother tongue. From the moment you become an English student on, all your TV programs will be in English. Number 4, you switch the language of your cell phone operational system to English. Number 5, all the books you will read from now on will be in English, from classics to 50 Shades of Grey. Number 6, when you are alone and lost with your thoughts, you remember that you could be lost with your thoughts in English and switch the language immediately. Number 7. If you go to the movies, you choose the session with subtitles. Number 8. Once you have time and money to travel, you are going to choose a destiny that speaks English, obviously. Number 9. Whenever you are angry and feel like cursing some bad words, you will do that in English, and it will sound less impolite. Number 10. Subscribe to Verbling.com and practice daily.
Thank you very much, Elena. That's extremely entertaining. I really like your tone as you're writing, because it's obviously well, I know that you're serious in some way, but it's very funny, because actually all of these points are really good ideas. I especially like number 6. All right.
Oh, okay.
Very well written, very well written. So you've used sort of like short sentences, and you've given me like imperatives, which is really good for a blog post. It makes it easy to read. Your English is superb. Let's just go over a few little minor corrections. So, firstly, listen to music in English. Try to understand the lyrics and to sing along. Repeat the same song 10 times if necessary, or more if it's maybe like a really fast rap. Very good, perfect. Listen to music in English whenever you can. For example, while you're driving, waiting at a bus stop. Waiting at a bus stop.
Okay.
Cooking or doing housework. Excellent. Quit watching TV in your mother tongue is a weird spelling. It has a UE on the end. From the moment you become an English student, on. You don't actually need on here. You can leave that out. From the moment you become an English student. What we tend to say is from now on, or from the moment you blah, blah, blah. If you use from now on, you're talking to someone directly in this moment. You can say from that time on, but usually we just say from that moment for some reason. I don't know why. From the moment you become an English student, absolutely. You can say from that moment on, but I think the key really is that you have to use the word that. Otherwise, you don't need on. Okay?
Okay.
Seems like a strange rule, but there you go. English is a bit strange. From the moment you become an English student, all your TV programs, so you either spell it with a double M-E-S or with just like this. Okay? Either of those two options.
All right.
You'll switch the language of your cell phone operational system to English. Yes, you know, this is a really good idea. You learn so much vocabulary by doing that. It's a great tip. And also, I suggest switching the language of your Facebook account. If you have Facebook, if you've ever done that, there's actually several weird languages you can choose, and you can actually choose pirate language in English as well, which is quite entertaining, just for a bit of fun. Number 5, all the books you will read from now on will be in English, from classics to 50 Shades of Grey. Yes, a good one if you want to learn some slightly sideline vocabulary. And that number 5. When you are alone and lost with your thoughts, you'll remember that you could be lost with your thoughts in English and switch the language immediately. That has to be your best point, Elena. I love it. If you go to the movies, you will choose the session with subtitles. Definitely. Once you have time and money to travel, you're going to choose a destination. Okay. But destiny is like fate, right?
Oh,
so your destiny is like what the stars will say. Anna speaks English, obviously. I like the obviously. Whenever you're angry and feel like cursing someone, you can also say cursing is perfectly fine. I just want to point out that in the UK we actually say swearing.
Swearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Swearing or swearing at somebody. But with cursing you don't need this at, so you can just say cursing or cursing somebody. Completely correct. Or calling, you could say calling out, but you can't just say calling, because calling means to phone somebody up, right?
All right.
So you can call out, or you can just say or shout or something like that. Some bad words. We also call them swear words or curse words. But bad words is fine. You will do that in English, and it will sound less impolite. Subscribe to verbling.com and practice daily. Excellent idea. Well done. That was superbly written, Elena, and also extremely entertaining. I think you should consider starting a blog.
Thank you, teacher.
Would you mind if I shared that on Facebook, Elena? Because I think it's quite nice for other students to read.
All right, that's all right.
Thank you. I'll obviously put your name on
I'll
that.
find you there.
All right. That'll be great. Thanks, Elena. Okay, any questions about it? I mean, your mistakes are very, very few, just a couple of little spelling ones. And don't forget that destination is a point in a journey, and destiny is your fate, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's have a look at lovely Jose's writing. Jose, you've written to us about movies, right?
Yes, teacher, about movies.
Perfect. All right, so can you read it out for us, please?
Okay, Jose Luis Nolasco blog. Actually, I want to recommend you 2 movies that for me are the best movies ever. One of them is called Revolver. It is not about guns at all. This movie is about the ego, how the ego can cause us problems if we haven't control about our emotions. It is a story about a man that fights against his instinct, his personality, and of course his ego. My rating for this movie is 9.5. The other one is called Her. It's about love. It is curious because I don't like the corny movies, but this movie moved me. It is about a man that bought an app that growing and learn about this man. This app is only the voice of a woman, but she can have their own thoughts, and after time they fall in love. It's in an alternative future, so apparently these kind of relationships are normal, or will be normal in the future. Then when the relationship's growing, the app cannot love him anymore. I don't want to say much about the movie because I could say a spoiler, but this movie is highly recommended. Score 9.8. And a bonus movie. Finally, I want to recommend you a sweet movie, the name Max and Mary. It is an animated movie. It is the story about a little girl from England that don't have friends, Mary, and a man, Max, that lives in the United States. This man is a schizophrenic person, and one day Mary is in the post office and decides to send a letter to a random person, and the person that received her letter is Max, and it is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Thank you, Jose, and thank you for choosing these movies because they're, I guess, I haven't actually heard of any of them, so they're kind of not so mainstream, not so like, you know, Hollywood blockbuster kind of ones, and it's really nice to get recommendations for unusual movies. So well done, and some great writing. So let's have a look at it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the verb to recommend. This is very confusing because it has a lot of different usages. However, when you're recommending something to somebody, we must use the word to, okay? So I recommend something to somebody. Like, I recommend a movie to you, okay?
Okay. Is better suggest against recommendation?
Yes, exactly. I want to suggest something to you, yeah?
Okay.
I'll put that too. Same thing. We'll talk about that again in a minute, but let's go through here. Actually, I want to recommend 2 movies to you, okay?
Okay.
That, for me, are the best movies, because we've got plural, ever. Then we need a full stop, I think, Jose. So we'll start talking about them now. One of them is called Revolver. And let's put a full stop as well. It is not about guns at all. This movie is about the ego. How the ego... I think it would be better here to put and, just because we're continuing the sentence. Usually we only use commas if we want a pause or if we're making a list. So we try not to use them too much in a sentence. It's better to contrast it with and or just to put a full stop. So it's not about guns at all. This movie is about the ego and how the ego can cause us problems if we... I think what you want to put here is don't have control over. Don't have control over
Okay.
our emotions. So to have control over something or to not have control over something, okay?
Okay.
You could also say we're not able to control our emotions, but this is better, I think.
Okay.
And then we'll put a full stop. It is a story about a man that fights, so we need an S. He fights against his instinct, his personality, and of course his ego. Full stop, and then tell us your rating. 9.5, that's a high rating. Should I get this out of the weekend, Jose?
Yes, teacher, I love a lot this movie because
Alright.
learn
Yeah?
many things.
Why did you choose this one to talk about?
Definitely about the ego because in the final of this movie, a lot of psychologists talk about the ego.
Okay,
Very
interesting.
Yes.
All right, put that on your movie list for the weekend, Elena. We're both going to go and watch it. All right. Let's look at the next paragraph. So the other one is called Her and is about love, or It's about love, okay?
Okay.
And full stop. It is curious because I don't like corny movies. We don't need the, okay? Because you're talking about corny movies in general, right? I don't like corny movies, but this movie moved me. Great. Nice use of the word of this construct to be moved by something. It is about a man that bought an app that growing. What do you mean growing?
How do you say, his thoughts growing with the time because Presley is only an app and he knows many things about the world, for example. But with the time, she is growing. I don't know how to say it.
I think maybe
Mature? I don't know.
yeah, maybe matures. It's a bit hard because it's kind of a weird situation, so I'm trying to think what you could say. You could say that grows, but you can't use the ing form. So if we change it to grows, maybe matures, you could say like develops, any of those would probably be fine. And learns.
Yes, develops. Yes.
About this man. Which man? This is the... Oh, okay, it's about a man. Okay, the man who bought the app. Very good. This app is only the voice of a woman. As in, it's not the real woman, it's just her voice, yeah?
Yes, it's funny because the voice of Elena is very similar. So.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Elena, you haven't done any voiceover work before, have you? Okay. This app is only the voice of a woman. But she can have her own thoughts. Her own thoughts. There is the plural, so...
Similar to whose voice?
To your voice, apparently, Elena.
Yes, it's similar.
Oh, really? Oh, nice. Okay.
Yes. When you read your text, it was very funny because I remember her voice about the movie.
What a coincidence! Well, Elena, you'll have to watch this movie as well and see what you think. Whether it sounds
I sure
like you.
do. Yeah. I'm curious.
Yeah. Okay, so it's only the voice of a woman, but she can have her own thoughts. And after some time, we need something in there, Jose. After some time.
Okay.
They fooled is incorrect. What's the past of to fool? It's fell, okay?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Fell in love.
Sorry.
No worries. That's the whole point of practicing. After some time, they fell in love. What we need here is it is. It is in. We can't start a sentence with is unless it's a question, okay? So it is in an alternative future. Well done for all these little words that you've got right. So apparently this kind of relationship, you can have this kind of relationship or these kinds of relationships. So you've got to just make it all, well, let's just do that and then it's easier. So we'll keep everything in the singular. This kind of relationship, and then we need this in the singular too, Jose, okay? Is normal.
Yes, sorry.
Or will be normal in the future.
Yes, normal, sorry.
So in the future, apparently, we're all going to fall in love with our phones. Is that right?
Yes.
I think it's already happened to some people, hasn't it? That sounds very fascinating, this movie. Then when the relationship's growing, I think you need an apostrophe here. When the relationship is growing, or maybe you mean has grown. What happens? Can you explain a little bit more? So the app cannot love him anymore. What do you mean? Is it giving too much away?
Yes, it's strange because even the app and the man have sex in this movie, and I don't know. I was shocked, but in a good in a good sense, teacher, because it's very interesting. It's other mind to see the love. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna have to get this one out. I've got a list of 2 movies to watch at the weekend now.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think this is fine. It probably makes sense. It's just that I haven't seen the movie, so I can't be entirely sure. I don't want to say much about the movie because I could. Right. What we would probably say here, and spoiler is the correct word, but because you've got this sentence set up how you've got it, I could spoil it. Is better. Okay? Because spoiler we only use, for example, you can say spoiler alert. As a kind of one-off little sentence.
Yes. I forget this word. I often hear this spoiler alert. Yes.
Yeah. So a spoiler is, yes, you can use it like that as a noun, but when we're talking in general, like in a sentence, we tend to just use the verb to spoil. That's where it comes from, yeah, spoiler. I could spoil it, but this movie is highly recommended, score 9.8. It is even better than the first one.
Maybe because I am still moved, I give this score, but for me, I think that become definitely one of my favorite movies.
Wow, okay. And this is pronounced moved, Jose, moved.
Okay, I have 2 questions, teacher.
Sure.
First one is score or rating is the same? I could use both for this kind of description?
Yeah, so they're both the same, but rating is just probably more common when you're talking about your opinion. And score tends to be used for fact. Yeah?
Okay.
So, like, the score of a match, for example, is the fact, like, who got what. If you're rating something, it's your opinion. Yeah. But score is okay.
Okay. And the other one is app is correct writing with capital A, E?
Okay, I was actually going to mention this, yes, because app is like a new word. It's actually short for application, right? But because it's now currently in usage, it's a bit one of those like new type of phrases. To be honest, I believe that it shouldn't have a capital because it's not the name of something, right? It's not the name of the app, it's just the actual noun itself. And it's not really 100% clear because it is a new word, and to be honest, because we're writing a blog post, it's absolutely fine to write app. But if you're writing other kinds of writing, it's better to use the whole word application.
Okay.
All right, and we get a bonus movie. Excellent. I can't wait to read about this one. So finally, I want to recommend to you a sweet movie called, not the name, but called.
Okay.
Called Max and Mary. You don't need a colon. And then if you're going to do brackets, just put the full stop at the end, or inside is okay as well. Called Max and Mary. It is an animated movie. All right. Is this a children's movie or not?
Yes, yes, I think that is for childs, but an adult could see. I saw, I love it.
All right. It is
Uh-huh.
this, I think there's a lot of movies like that, Jose, where they're supposedly for children, but adults actually enjoy them just as much. It is the story about a little girl from England that doesn't, because it's she, yeah?
Yes, yes, of course, yes.
That doesn't have any friends. Doesn't have any friends. And then, because we're introducing her name, we need 2 commas. Mary, and a man, and then again here, Max, comma, that lives in, usually we say the United States, and then we'll have a full stop.
Okay.
This man is a schizophrenic person, and one day Mary's in the post office and decides to do something. To send a letter to a random person, and the person that receives her letter is Max. And it is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. That sounds like a very touching movie.
Yes, it is, teacher.
All right. So do I have 3 movies now that I should watch, Jose?
Yes, this is interesting because then Mary becoming a psychologist.
A psychologist? Yep.
Yes, and write about the illness of Max.
Uh-huh.
And Max hungry about this.
Max is angry.
Yes, he's angry, and she don't know. She don't want to know nothing more about Mary. And it's interesting.
All right. This sounds like a great movie. I'm going to add that one on too. So,
Yes.
really great writing, Jose. It's quite a good one. When you write about something like this, you're describing the stories of things. It's quite challenging to get all your tenses correct and all the agreements correct, but you've done really well. Just have a read up on the verb to recommend, because that one can sometimes trip you up. And the rest of the time, really the only consistent error was just don't forget when you use the third person, you need to double check the verb form, okay? Because it's different, obviously. So it's the one that's easiest to forget. So receives, she receives, he does, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Apart from that, super, and thank you for sharing your movies with us.
And no problem, teacher. You're welcome. Thank you for your advice.
All right, no problem. So any more questions before we go, guys? No? I'll take silence as a no, because everything's crystal clear. All right, well, it was lovely to have you in class today. Well done for some very entertaining and interesting writing. Don't forget to go over those corrections so that next time you can be even better. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. And see you soon.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank
Bye.
you, teacher.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.